Oh, that is certainly frustrating. The stream is dropping again. I don't know if you guys noticed the stream drop, but it is raining, so I don't know if we'll have issues with connectivity today. Here's hoping we don't. All right, so as I paint these models, I'll just kind of move them off screen and go on to the next. Like I said, there are 6 total in this little set, and I painted each one to the same theme, basically modeled after the card that comes with the figures for the game. I really like this color scheme that the artist for the card chose for these creatures. I may mimic this color scheme for some of my monsters actually, because I really like the contrast between the kind of the tan color of the belly scales and the dark gray blue of the hide. Oh, boy. Okay, I don't like how that came out, so I'm going to completely wash it off here. I'm just going to wet that down and then get a big dry brush and just soak that paint off. So with acrylics, you can make mistakes because it's water soluble, so you can just use a wet brush to clean it off. We'll come back to that once that fully dries. Oh man, it's cold enough for ice beard? That doesn't sound good. Thankfully, it's not that cold down here yet. Thanks for popping in, Evil. Okay, there's another starfish done. Let's retry this one over here. Right. I'll let that one dry. We'll go on to the next. Getting some rain here right now, Evil, so we may or may not have connectivity issues. We already had the stream drop once. Not super pleased. Right, that's the third one. Hey, Sunshine, thanks for coming by. Hey, Jacobian, thanks. I just saw you popping in as well. Welcome aboard, everybody. So this particular Thunder Chicken, as he called it, these are abominations from the Hero Quest board game. I worked on these this weekend from a Slap Chop Prime up through Speed Paint. These started off as just green plastic models, but the details really started popping out when I got the Slap Chop on and the paint going. They're painted up in the color scheme of the card artwork from the board game. So the color scheme is, I'm really liking this kind of tan belly with the blue hide. Uh, I might paint a couple of my figures like this myself. Yep, this is Abomination. So this model we were today going through and just doing some of the details on it, like starfish, barnacles that are festooning the creature as extra decoration. And now Pauline has decided to join, so Pauline's on my lap, making sure that I meet quality control standards for painting uh, for these models. Okay, stay down. All right, that's four. Okay, getting feline interference. She is, maybe she's not happy with the orange. I don't know. She wants a closer look. All right, we've got one more model to do the starfish on. Yeah, be careful driving there. No, get in there. Okay, that is all of the starfish that are on these particular guys. We're going to let those dry for a little bit. And while we're doing that, I think we're going to work on a little bit of the slap chop prime on Mr. Stumpwimple, the Halfling Ranger. In the meantime, I'll close up my wet palette just to keep those pets or those paints wet and workable. And then we'll start working on some of these barnacles here on the shoulder. They're very tiny, very hard to see, but we're going to hit those with some off-white paint to just make them barnacle colored. Yes, and keep the pets out of them, that's for sure. She will definitely go digging in that, and then she'll have paint on her paws, and that'll be a whole nightmare to deal with. She's already very rambunctious today. Yeah, getting into trouble. All right, so for our slap chop prime, we're going to do some dry brushing. So I'm going to get a clean paper towel to wipe out my excess on my brush with. And we're going to get Mr. Stumpwhipple here. Um, and because he's so tiny, uh, yes, that's true. It's still art. It's not art I want all over my paint desk and floors, though. Not today, right? Not today. One trick that I use if I'm especially working with a little tiny model, like trying to hold it like this and dry brush it is going to be a bit of a nightmare because it's so small. This guy is like basically the size of my thumbnail. So what I do is I take some poster tack and stick that on top of an old pill bottle. And now I've got something that I can hold the model with while I work at it with my brushes. Unfortunately, it doesn't fit under the camera very well, so I might raise the camera or I don't know. We'll just play around. In the meantime, let's see what we can come up with here. There we go. There's a little bit more room to work with and see what we're doing. We'll bring the light in a little bit closer. There we are. Okay, interesting. So now we can see that he's being held on this old ibuprofen bottle. And let's get out some gray primer. It's already been primed in black, the Vallejo brush on primer that I always use. We're going to go ahead and get our gray primer out, our kind of mid-tone for the prime. Put that in a palette here. Go through quite a bit of this primer. I'm almost ready to order another bottle here. So while we get ready to dive into this, who's ready for the holiday this week? I don't think I am yet. I'm ready to be off work. I know that much. Huh. It snuck up on us, didn't it? So with the dry brushing, uh, again, we just kind of load up our brush, just the tip of the brush, wipe out the excess. It looks like there's nothing left on the brush, but when we start to use a downward stroke on the model, that primer starts to come off, revealing some of that texture. Let's do a top down because we're basically assuming the light source that's illuminating the model is directly above it. The sun in a zenith position, right? So this is why it's called a zenithal prime or zenithal, I guess. I think zenithal is the appropriate pronunciation, but I could be wrong. So we're just going to get all of the surface here, just leaving that black in the shadows, like inside his hood there, the shadows of his eye sockets, the creases of his cloak. So even a tiny model like this has some really good detail that the sculptor has created. And we're going to use this technique to reveal that texture, including the fact that he is a halfling, so he is barefoot and he has that fur on top of his feet, just like you would expect for a halfling or hobbit or whatever you want to call it. The fun part is I still have a couple of ibuprofen tablets in the bottle, so apparently they're rattling while I the prime. Whew, okay. Well, my poster tack is failing me, so I might actually switch out to a less noisy bottle. So any old pill bottle will do with a little bit of double-sided poster tack. Uh, and you can see here I'll kind of smoosh it up. And you just smoosh your model down onto it, and it holds it pretty well while you work it. Cookies to bake, huh? That sounds kind of fun. And if I were baking cookies, I'd have a hard time not just eating them. Okay, now that we've got that gray, uh, now we're going to hit the very highest highlights with a white prime. Uh, that's a brush on acrylic primer from Vallejo. Yep, right there, see? Does that meet your satisfaction? Meet your standards? Put a few drops of that in my palette. And again, we'll just load up the tip of the brush, brush out the excess. You want to brush on that surface until almost all the pigment is off the brush, so that when you brush it on like your skin or something, like nothing really comes off until you hit that hard surface of the model. Oh, nice. Yep, we will be live tomorrow night at 6 o'clock Eastern. The link to that channel is down below in my recommended channel links. We left last week with a real cliffhanger. I'm not sure I'm liking the position we're in with, we don't know yet, but we've lost a key member of our group. A couple key members of our group, honestly. We've had a death and now a disappearance. Okay, so now Mr. Stumpwimple, uh, he has been slap chop prime for the most part, and we'll let that. Yeah, we don't know his characters yet. I mean, we obviously know as cast because we kind of saw it play out, but our we don't know as characters what's really going on, and so we're in for a rude awakening, I think, when we awaken. Okay, Mr. Stumpwimple, we'll let you dry for a little while while we apply some slap chop to you. So we'll clean out this brush in some water, get all that primer out of our bristles. Definitely time to head to Brush Mart and get some new brushes. I think my bristles are really fraying out on this eyeliner blending brush. Still doing the trick though. And I might be able to take it into some brush soap and recondition it and see if I can't rescue this brush. But she is on her last legs. Okay, we'll get this ugly old pill bottle out of the way. Some of the tools we use aren't pretty, but they get the job done. Okay, so I'm going to open up the wet palette again because we're going to use that wet palette to paint our barnacles. Barnacles have this weird kind of off-white gray, grayish color. So we're going to use another Formula P3 paint that will have our barnacle color. And for that, it's again Formula P3, but this will be Meneth White highlight. Boy, that's hard to see that with the light. But that's one of their P3 paints that are making a comeback with Steamforged Games. Steamforged Games, the producers of those Epic Encounters miniatures kits that we've been painting on Wednesdays, they have acquired the rights to a lot of Privateer Press games and also the Formula P3 paints. So they'll be reformulating those and re-releasing those. Um, so I'm excited for that because that is my favorite paint line, and I'm happy that it's being resurrected, so to speak. And I'm happy that Steamforged Games is working to improve the line, improve that formula, and make them kind of a more modern formulation to compete with some of the other current paints that are out there that have really great coverage. Things like the Army Painter war paints. Those things are really good coverage in one coat. Even the yellows go over a black prime with like one coat. They're really pigment dense paints. The pigment density for the Formula P3 is going to be pretty close, if not matching that. So they'll be really nice to use when those come back. Okay, what do you think, Pauline? Should we do some barnacles now? All right. So I've got a really tiny detail brush again, and we're just going to get some of that Meneth white, and we're just going to kind of polka dot these little barnacles that are on this model, which is difficult to do with a cat on your lap. But we're just touching the tip of the brush to the texture of those barnacles. Let the paint kind of work itself off the brush. There we go. Like, like little tiny boils. Barnacles do have this like little conical texture with this little hole in the center. So what we'll do is once this dries, we'll hit it with a wash and we'll have that texture a little bit more apparent. you go. Yeah, what a fun sculpt. These were definitely fun to put some paint to. Oh boy. All right. Fairly happy with that one. I think I'm going to change brushes though. This brush, the tip has one little bristle that's hanging off of it that is really giving me fits. It's a little too long compared to the other bristles. So when paint gets on it, it's really kind of a pain. Oh, man, I might have just fixed it. It's really kind of fun when you get your model close to done and you start putting these tiny little details on it to just really bring it to life. That's one of my favorite parts. It's not super exciting to watch, maybe, but as the painter watching this come to life, I think it's really cool. We've almost got all our barnacles on our models here. It's a lot of polka dotting. And we'll switch up the pace a little bit and take a look at Mr. Stumpwhipple. I want to tell these guys they have a special soap for this condition. Right. Our barnacles have met with feline approval, feline quality assurance team approval. All right, for Mr. Stumpwhipple, we'll go ahead and apply some skin tone first. It is a nice brand new palette. And since he's been slap chop, we'll be speed painting here. Um, and I think for the halfling, we might use a slightly different skin tone than what we're used to using. Instead of that peachy flesh, we might go with something a little bit more tan to kind of match that halfling complexion. Halflings usually have a more ruddy complexion or tan complexion compared to some of the fairer skinned elves. So we'll use um, from the Armor Painter Speed Paint line, Warrior Skin. This is out of the 2.0 set. This is kind of a darker, more tan skin tone compared to the fair skin that we've used on some of our other models. Yep, I got to mix it up. Okay. So we're going to use those metal beads that are in there to resuspend that pigment in that speed paint medium. So that's proper flow. I don't know. That might be a little bit too dark. So what we might do is we'll just thin it out just a tad with some speed paint medium. That'll kind of thin out those pigments and lighten it up just a little bit. We do the same trick with our peachy flesh to make it a really fair uh, skin tone. Okay, pop him back on our little holder here so we can be steady and not get too much paint on our hands. Okay. All right, looks like he's got gloves on, so we won't worry about his hands. Interesting that he's wearing gloves but no shoes, but that's halflings for you. So we will get his feet, bearing in mind that there is hair on the top of his feet, just like a good halfling. Not only is he a halfling, but he's a halfling ranger, so he's definitely going to have a darker skin tone, I think, being out in the wild, out in the sun. As that speed paint flows over that prime, little details start coming out like individual toenails on this sculpt. As tiny as this guy is, the sculptor included his toenails. There's that extra realism. He's got a little bit of hair sticking out under his cloak, so we'll be sure to leave that so we can color that in with his hair color. That lamp is really getting weird. The color balance is acting wonky. Anyway, that is our skin tone applied to Mr. Stumpwimple. Stumpwimple. So with that, we are getting close to the top of the hour. So I just want to thank everyone for coming by. Appreciate everyone that is here supporting the channel. Be sure to check out our show tomorrow, Tuesday at 6 o'clock Eastern on the Elite Encounters channel. Down below, click that link. If you haven't already, be sure to like, follow, subscribe, all those things over there on that channel. And if you haven't already, be sure to follow here. As you may remember, we did announce last week that we are on the road to 50 followers here on Barnabas Brushes. We are about halfway there. We're sitting at about halfway to 50. Once we get to 50, I am going to take one of those followers at random to be the lucky recipient and winner of a WizKids Beholder Mini. Yes, Pauline thinks that's super cool. Yeah. WizKids Beholder Mini that will have custom painted. I will custom paint to your color scheme. If you are the winner and I choose your name out of those 50 followers, I'll paint it to your specifications and send it to you, or bring it to you if you're in the local area, depending. Um, but that's the contest that we have going to push to 50. So if you are already following the channel, thank you for that. If you have people out there that you know can pop by and watch us paint miniatures and give the channel a follow, be sure to let them know to check us out. We're definitely on that push to 50. We're so close to the halfway mark. Just every little bit counts. So I appreciate that. In the meantime, be sure to check us out Tuesday, and then Wednesday I'll be back here on this channel at 5 o'clock Eastern to paint some more miniatures for our Psychic Promise campaign. We're working on those Death Riders. These are a lot of fun to paint, really cool models from Steamforge games. So we'll be working on those Wednesday at 5 o'clock Eastern. Until then, oh, and be sure to check out Thursday Overwatch's show as well. Yeah, I believe he's usually streaming at 8 o'clock Eastern on his channel. Sometimes he's doing maps, sometimes he's doing some world building stuff. He'll definitely surprise us when he comes on and shows us what he's got. So until then, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. Have a good evening. Good night.